you know, our neighbors have to maintain their properties.
I've done pretty much.
Right. So, 7:30 to 5:30, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4 on Saturday, and 1 to 4 on Sunday?
We don't, if you want to do that with homeowners, that's fine with us. If you want to be in commercial use on Sundays.
But do you agree with not allowing them Sunday morning, when you get that much?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Joe? Yeah.
I said, leave the Sunday hours, and then when you all make the presentation, whatever the group is, and I'm not taking myself out of it, but you're gonna represent the board.
Right.
You could put that forth as a friendly, not amendment, but just say, we've taken on the pledge of, no Sunday.
commercial use on.
Right, well, you know, whatever. And if on Saturday night they get 35 mile per hour storm, some of their clients might be calling in on Sunday too, so.
Then you may use a special time.
I'm just saying, those hours on Sunday should apply to everyone.
Okay.
As the weekday and Saturday, right?
That would apply to a lawnmower going at Sunday morning, 10 o'clock, right?
No.
No, this is only for gas-powered leak roads.
Which-
That's part of why we don't do them. Because now, I mean, you can imagine we have to do this for lawnmowers and snow blowers and everything else. I mean, it's, you know, whatever thing we should have.
We'll be Amish,
Taken big floors to begin with, huh?
We'll be Amish.
Yeah. Okay, so, and do we hear an agreement on those hours? Any issues? Okay. Yes, Robert.
Kevin, 4 things I just want to quote. I don't want to beat this thing up on the majority of people, but many people I talked to deliberately didn't go because they saw it as a 20% turnout was needed. And if they get to 20%, fine. But they looked at it as, we will never see 12,000 people coming out, which would mean a 40% turnout. Because town elections, the only time you ever see any number like that was only once since 2006. And that was for the override. You got 47%. The next highest is 30%, you saw in the last 6 years. And that's how a lot of people did view it. I don't want to legitimize the process. So that's end of discussion on that. That's all. I just want to say that because there are people out there that feel
Yeah,
that
but it's
way.
not the final.
But I don't understand what your point is. What you're saying, they
Well,
would have voted
Say that's
for the
what
ban.
Kevin said, that's how they voted to keep the ban, by not showing that, so.
Well, they figured there's no point in them going because they wouldn't get enough to override, you know, if they got their 6,000, we wouldn't get the 12.
As those who were against it also felt that we can't get that many, so I won't bother showing up for it.
Because there was a lot of that, because I spoke to them, going back.
Those who did vote clearly are
We're
against
gonna
the
do
ban.
something.
That's fine. Yeah, that's all. I just need to say it. I'm happy I said it. Now, when you establish the language for the article, or whatever it is,
She'll have it for us by Monday night.
Monday.
Well, let me say that, she'll have a draft of it for Monday night.
okay.
Then we vote on it, and then no, she won't. You want her to draft it by Monday night? Are you shaking your head?
I'm shaking my head, no, it's not a problem.
Oh, okay. It has to be hearing is Monday night. But then what happens is we have that hearing, we'll get input from any who wish to speak, then we take a vote, and then she will do a final wording,
Okay.
which comes back to us at the following meeting.
Okay. And then it's sent out as like a warrant.
Yeah.
It's sent out to everybody throughout town, right?
Julia's not, Julia.
I'm sorry.
I apologize. The proposed vote that the selectmen want to
Right.
recommend to town meeting will go out in the selectmen's report. It's not part of the warrant,
Okay.
right? It'll be, but, I'm sorry, and I interrupted, except that I wanted to remind you that there is not currently a selectmen's meeting scheduled between the 24th and the 10th.
Right, okay. Well, on the 24th, we'll be clear what we're supporting, there's no question.
But then-
The actual final wording won't be until
But
it's...
you know how we get the warrant and it's in
You
there?
still get the warrant, it'll say, Board of Selectmen recommends to 2 more sentences, or take any action related thereto.
Yeah.
And then the actual, just like we do in town meeting, you know how it gets sent to your house, the selectmen's report, the
Yeah.
treasurer's, that's when you'll see the final wording. But yes, the warrant will go out.
Yeah, because I want to put away the thing, well, I didn't know, how come I didn't know? You didn't read the warrant
Yeah,
to see what's in it.
exactly.
And so, I don't want people saying, well, I didn't know they were going to do anything like this. So they will see. The other thing is, I know a couple of us had to be like sworn in,
Yeah.
and that has to do with the open meeting law or something?
Yeah.
Can I talk to any of these people?
Yes, I can, and that was a mistake on my part. It should have been called an ad hoc committee or a working group. So that was just my misspeaking. Again, this is me putting together a warrant article that I'll put before the Board of Selectmen on Monday night, and we'll then present to town meeting. We've asked you here from both sides to give your opinion on these issues,
Yeah.
but the official vote will come from the Board of Selectmen. The proposed vote will come from the Board of Selectmen. The official vote will be taken by town meeting.
Because when we did that, I was asking you to have the open meeting law and all this kind of, and my wife lectured me all the way back from New York today about.
This is a subcommittee, so the subcommittee is not, like, for example, it was requested that we put this on cable. We can't, we have 100 committees, and imagine a number of subcommittees to 100 committees in the town of Arlington.
That's good. And the final.
But Steve and I came here to record us, so we are recording for posterity.
Getting back to the number of blows per square foot, I see it as a property requires 30 minutes of blowing. If it's 2 blows, it's 15 minutes. And to put a 6,000 square feet, 10,000 square feet limit, a restriction, I think that confuses things. I think, whether you need 1 or 2 to do a property, and you're not going to be more, and I don't doubt you're going to have 2 going for more than 30 minutes.
But can I get from you all that's sort of the standard you're applying right now? Or no?
We generally run 2 machines, on the bigger ones. It just makes more sense. They actually run for less time that way. It's more productive.
But I think, Bob, what you're saying is let's not list that at all. It's
No,
just, they can run for 30 minutes, and if it's 2 of them, because the property is large enough, it's still only 30 minutes at a time.
Right. And I think that's just going to create discussion you don't want to get into. Well, my thing is not, I only use 1 bag of fertilizer, I've got 10,000 square feet, but I can only use, so I mean, if the house takes up the rest of it, so.
So with that being said, the town would be able to use several to accomplish the job, a park or a school or whatever else.
I guess, yeah.
For 30 minutes at a time,
Correct.
Time limit applies.
Correct.
All right.
And now, is the town property under the same restriction?
Absolutely.
Homeowner, commercial, municipal.
Public.
Public, municipal, commercial.
Yep.
So are we still keep, are we still keeping the 6,000?
Well, he's proposing we delete that and leave it to 30 minutes at a time. The use of lead blowers.
I mean, I understand not wanting to open up something, but I'm also concerned that if it comes to people won't understand.
Well,
And it may come up anyway.
it's helping in a sense that on the guy that's trying to run 3 on 12,000 square foot property, isn't it? Isn't it more restrictive in that regard? I mean, there are properties that are bigger than 12,000,
I agree with George. At least keep it for discussion and draft and see where the discussion goes from there. But I think it gives people who are kind of uncomfortable with it, say, I'm just going to look for the ban because it was so not defined, it was just so broad. And if they see that there's some really well thought out, not that other things aren't well thought out, but things that they can say, what can I have? I have 30 minutes, I have 1 per 6,000. So for the people who really are paying attention, I mean, I'd share a personal story. Would you shut that off for 1 second?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well.
Thank you, though.
If you, I know people in the town that have, like, say, severely autistic kids. And I know parents of those kids. Those parents have a legitimate concern. Sometimes you have to take those kids that sound like the vacuum cleaner. They can't vacuum when their kids are home. And I mean kids all the way up until 20, 30, 40, because they can't process the sound. So I know parents who have a true hardship to them, where they're looking for, is there something that I know this is going to end? I know that my son Jimmy can take it for 30 minutes. If they see the 30 minutes, they might say, okay, good, I can go out, come back, and in 45 minutes versus I got to find an errand that child is comfortable going to. That's a whole other battle. So I'm thinking for the people who really want to say what guidelines, enforcement rules are in place that can kind of make it a little more tight machine.
Right.
on
So you agree with the 30 minutes, but what
Yes.
did that have to do with what you just said
that.
about
Because
one or
if
two?
you're in that situation, no, not one or two, you were saying the 6,000 and getting rid of that, 1 per 6,000. I'm just saying, in that circumstance, you know, there's some kids that, if 2 are going at the same time versus 1, I mean, no, I'm not making my point.
But we work with people all the time. If somebody comes to you and they have a concern, you know, we try to
Yeah.
accommodate them, you know.
But I agree with Jill to keep it in. I wasn't allowed to get into the story the way I wanted, sorry.
Well, sorry, Diane, I didn't mean to, but I.
No, I don't want to, I know it's, I'm trying to say to
okay.
myself, because
Okay, all right,
you know,
okay, all right.
people have rights to privacy that, you know, something that they say,
Right, okay.
that's all.
So what do we want to do on?
No, I'm still, you
I know.
know, 30 minutes, fine, but if they had 2 going, they could do it in 15, if they had 3, they could do it in 10.
Well,
Yeah, that's, but I mean, it's that kind of thing, it's so many per, whatever, you know, like the unit kind of thing.
I mean, in residential neighborhoods, like someone next door to you, we're not gonna run 2 blowers after a month long time.
Sometimes 2 blowers are so much more efficient, just using crosswind and that type of thing, that they shut off a lot faster
Right.
than chasing leaves around and this and that.
Carol, what did you say, sorry?
No, I said my neighbors use 2 all the time.
Oh, your neighbors used to all the
We
time.
are talking about noise primarily here, but there were other arguments against the blowers as well during the original town meeting. This was, I didn't know that.
And that's why we were saying, sort of, I'm using the wrong language, the low throttle on the machine, so that, the way I equated it, sometimes they jack it all the way to 10, which is kicking everything up. They're not sweeping anything. It's putting it into everybody else's lawns, putting it into the town street. But I have seen them, the landscaping company across the street, who are friends of mine, they put it on what I want to say 2 instead of 10, and not only can you barely hear it, it slowly just kicks it up so it can go to a pile, snow shovel, take it away.
And one of the restrictions is, it's to be blown only on the property, not onto the street or onto neighbor's property. So that's one of the restrictions we're placing on, to try and control that.
So are we keeping 6,000 feet in?
Because I say I understand, I guess,
If we don't count it, what is the value in not having it, other than the concern that it's gonna cause?
Well, if you're in a tight neighborhood, let's say, you're guaranteed there's 1 blower running, and not 2.
I mean, I'm fine with 6,000 feet, I guess I'm just trying to understand why we didn't want it in, but that's.
And I thought it came from you all, didn't it, or not? The 6,000?
Yeah.
Why don't we keep it in, have
And
it
this is why, in a tight neighborhood, you're guaranteed 1 blower.
Well, and again, let's deal with it the way Adam recommended. Let's call this a guideline, 1 blower per 6,000, and we still leave the time limit of 30 minutes per, 30 minutes at a time, once they actually run.
At a low throttle.
30 minutes total, or 30
Under the
minutes,
7,
30
under the
minutes?
77, right.
Is that 30 minutes total or 30 minutes increments?
They may be used at 30 minutes at a time, yes. We got into whether or not we should set and they have to be turned off for the next half hour or something, but we're worried that's just too tough to try and enforce. But it's got to be self-enforcement, obviously, although unless we get complaints from neighbors, that's the way that this would have to eventually be enforced.
Well, we know too, as a group, we have to live up to what we're telling you we're gonna do,
Right.
or we're gonna be back there again in a year, and we don't want to be. We spent enough money, we've got enough resources, we just wanna settle this thing and get it done.
When does the year begin and end? That we talked about in the year?
That's a very good question.
And-
I would imagine this will go into effect next June 15th, right? Is that correct, Julie? If it's passed?
So a year from June 15th.
No, next June 15th.
If it passes, whatever passes in October.
Yeah, that's my question, is when is the new
Oh,
machines going
oh.
to be?
Oh, well, how we had left it was, we didn't set a time for the commercial operations, and it was left open whether non-commercial operations, i.e. homeowners, would need to bring their machines into compliance at all, or maybe with a 5-year phase-in.
Well, we had said that the commercial machine would be upgraded within the year.
Right,
So
so
if you
I
wanna
think
put it from a year's date to date, the law passes, I guess, or something, however you want to do it.
Want to say June 2015?
That sounds right.
Grandfather those.
Because what do we
It'll
say?
be June 2014.
2014? Okay, June 2014.
Is that all right, Joe?
That's fine.
It'll be a year from this,
Yeah.
from the first, yeah.
That's fine.
And just leave the homeowners alone.
Again, guideline.
You're gonna have a lot of people yelling when you tell them they gotta throw their, homeowners.
You know, Barry, we're gonna have a lot of people yelling no matter where we go. As we've listened to a lot of people yelling already on it, so. Again, we just tried to.
Left this end of things up to you people and have faith in it. It's the first time I got involved in it, and I can't believe what goes on, but anyway.
So, anybody want to recommend other restrictions or any other comments, thoughts?
You have to wear a birthday hat when you're.
I've been asked.
Okay, so, in the, not the restricted periods, all bets are off and everything else, in
Right,
terms of time and.
right,
Okay.
right. And from the communities we put into, Bob, that's the,
That's,
it's a
you
period of
can't
time.
do it all within.
Yeah. All right?
Do I move to adjourn?
So-
I don't know.
So again, just where we go from here, Juliana, our town council will write this up. It will be before the Board of Selectmen on Monday night. Any or all of you are invited to that. This is what I will be presenting, what we've all agreed on. I'm going to bother Juliana to go through that just one more time, so that I'd like to be able to say we're mostly in agreement. Carol, I understand you expressed a different opinion, which is fine, but, and so then it will be October 10th, and, I'll be in touch with any of you who would like to take part in that presentation that I will make. I do think it would be helpful to hear from one of you professionals that night on these restrictions. And of course, to be available to answer any of the questions, like we had questions here this evening. Okay? So one more at a time.
The outright seasonal ban will be removed and replaced with restrictions that will apply between June 15th and September 15th to gas-powered leaf blowers used by private enterprise and the municipality.
And professional.
Right.
Yeah, professional practice.
Yeah, right. Except these restrictions will not apply in emergency events or cleanup from emergency events. Only one, between June 15th and September 15th, only one leaf blower may be used at a time per 6,000 square feet or portion thereof. For commercial enterprises, gas-powered leaf blowers must be of a model that emit 77 decibels or less, but there will be a 1-year phase-in period for that requirement beginning in June of 2013, or when the law goes into
June
effect.
2014, right, okay.
Okay. But I think what I would also say is within 1 year of when the law goes into effect, in case there's some kind of delay. I wouldn't expect it to be past June 2013, but I will put that in. Two questions. One is what we have is that leaf blowers shall not be used to blow debris off of property. What I think I would recommend is not restricting that restriction to the June 15th to September 15th, because that's already part of another bylaw, so that would create confusion.
So do we need to put that in? Is that all right?
Well, we should emphasize.
Okay.
you know.
I think we can do that, but I think I would write it in such a way to say that never should the leaf blower be used to deposit debris onto public streets or somebody else's property. And this is my second question. The lowest possible practical speed. I have thought that discussion was that pending the implementation of the 77 decibel limit, existing commercial leaf blowers would be used to the lowest possible practical speed, and I think later I heard something saying that should always be the case.
Well, the lowest practical, I think, applies to private. They are going to commit to machines that are under 77 decibels, right?
Okay, so that's
And we
not
felt
commercial.
that, homeowners own their machine for many, many more years than the professional landscapers. So they should be, private use.
I mean, again, that's going to be hard to enforce, but maybe valuable as a statement of expectation. and that during this restriction period, June 15th to September 15th, gas-powered leaf blowers may be used only between 7:30 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. on Saturdays, between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. on Sundays. We also should specify whether the holidays fall. What do you want, Sundays? Let's do that Sundays?
Sundays.
Okay.
You know,
And that's all I have.
You did mention the 30-minute.
Yeah. She mentioned me.
No.
Maybe I spoke too quickly.
Yeah, no, I watched you go through it. Just-
You think very,
Did you mention 6,000 square foot?
she said 6,000 square foot,
Yeah.
yes.
All right, you do it.
But the third, no, the third, one last time.
if this doesn't pass,
Right,
then the seasonal restriction stays.
no, not necessarily. There is a second warrant article that will follow this one, which is Mr. Harrington's warrant article, why he called us, which is, that I know of. We have no wording yet from it, but that I understand it's just to remove the ban, period. No restriction, right?
Okay.
But if this one passes first, it does remove the ban and replaces it with restrictions.
Not many restrictions.
Huh?
There's not many restrictions.
Oh.
So we could vote to
We
both
feel
now,
there are many
and
restrictions.
continue to have the
So I'm saying it's regulation.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes, so that could have, both could be voted down and the ban continues, yes,
restrictions.
yes.
Or what happens if someone in town meeting comes up with a compromise and that?
Yeah, a different.
So three possibles, as you know, I'm just stating for everybody else.
Right.
Right. All right, Michael, sorry, but thank you all very much for being here, appreciate you, really what I know Michael had, and we explained, Michael, you had.
I saw the traffic in the high school.
Well, he was at Minuteman.
Curriculum document.
Like,
I still have 30 minutes,
Sorry?
is that in there?
Yeah.
30 minutes.
Yeah,
She
I guess
just
I'll
didn't
do-
read it. Yeah.
Okay.
Honey, you did? I'm telling you, I watched you go through it, I just.
I wrote down everything you said.
Oh,
It's okay, it's all right, you've done a wonderful job. Which one? I had in Here, Stephen, here it is. Stephen.
So you get the wording on the warrant article, issue. No special town meeting, close to that stage. Well, that's because of the.
I don't know what it is.
I know you don't. We all know that, Kevin.
Yeah, we'll